trends of thought, trends of thought, right? Hanging out in the dumpsters, hanging out with the homeless, hanging out with the others in your mind of what we can't comprehend, what brought somebody somewhere, a human being. Why did an individual human being end up in that place? What percentage of human beings or what percentage of items are lost every single year? So if we look at numbers, reasons, realities, comparisons, whether it's a person, place, or thing that got lost, that went homeless, that ended up on the street, that became the errant cat, that ended up not only at the pounds, but in this instance, we live by the pound. By the pound. That is how we are living. The 9 lives of the cat, the canine, our creation, when it's going to be understood, what every word is meant to be as it is, as the Sanskrits, okay, were read or learned to be read in one's way, and whose way, and how many people read the Sanskrit, and did everybody work together in conjunction with each other, comparing notes upon the emojis of the Sanskrit? What is the logic of one is another is different from one's perception, and who taught you to know the difference? Other than what we can basically take with us today is ABC 1, 2, 3. When you come to the stop sign, stop. Look both ways and only attempt to go, okay, one at a time. So no one should run into each other. Stay in your lane. Is it one lane and one lane and one lane and one lane? Is it a 2 lane and 2 lane, or 3 lane and 2 lane? Is it 2 lanes breaking down into 3 lanes? Why are you here? What are you listening to? Where do you want to go? Do you know what I do? Very important to understand what I do so you can understand what you're listening to. The perception is the same thing as to understanding. Don't judge a book by its cover. But in this instance, I think the book cover, right, what I wrote at the beginning here, right? Welcome to TikTok. Have fun interacting with other viewers in real time. Is it Montreal or Israel to all this, or is it Ishmael, right? Is it your time, my time, whose time? Forget it. Creators must be 18 or over, right? But forget about that. But why am I here, right? I'm going to tell you something. I got a lot of things to say down here. So I share it. I share it in stories. In the stories, I'm going to link, okay, to values that will connect to the zodiac signs, to the planet, to the rotation of the planet, to the minutes, to the seconds, to the hours, to the days, to the conjunction of days that brought Wednesday, to connecting the last 3 days, to the next 3 days of the day I am in presently, although the day has not finished yet, the day perhaps has not even begun. But it is in the concept and understanding and the vision. And then the other understanding is we have a big percentage of people that look at the calendar in North America or maybe other places in the world and go, today is Saturday, the day of rest. I stand on today. I recognize what on through the week, but today for me is not Saturday. I'm sorry. It is only Saturday if I was born on a Friday. So how should we respect? Do you understand what I'm saying? The day of rest is the 6th day of the born. You are only born on that day of day 6, they call it, right? In the last week. You know, in the last week, you can almost call it like Adam and Eve, because Eve, okay, is the part where it becomes Adam, because it's the night before you arrive into what is the Adam, bringing on the rib. Or should we work it backwards? Do you know where I'm going with this? Do you understand what I'm saying? Do you understand? Can you put this story together? How one word or one scenario might be able to work in so many different areas. Bonnie and Clyde. What did they represent? Why was it B and C? Was it part of communication? Was it how well they communicated together? Right? What was going on between them, right? Bonnie and Clyde, why did they exist in our television? Why was it served upon us? I'm going to use items in my work, many of the items that have been pre-created. I don't create anything here other than fabricate the story from the creation that already exists. And the alphabet already exists. A, B, C, 1, 2, 3. The suitcase. I took the suitcase with me. You know what was in here? I had 39 items in the suitcase. And in and I had 39 items in the suitcase, or should I say I had 39 or 40 suitcases I carried along. Each one was a property of its own. Maybe I carried it out for Monopoly and had 4 suitcases that were bigger than the others. Okay, I had 4 suitcases that were bigger than the others. I had 1 suitcase that was smaller than the others. That was the suitcase in the middle. The suitcase in the middle was like this, right? The other suitcases were like this, right? But the biggest suitcase, where is it? It's got to be somewhere. Oh my God, I think it shrunk. No. Oh my God, put my clothes back on. Yeah, so anyways, I'm just going to use these. I'm just going to say there's 4 here. And this is represented right over here. See the single dot in the center? That's 1 cube. Single dot in the center. Okay, you see over here, these 3 orange marks? Just take one of them. That's 2 cubes. See the corners over here? Okay, that's 4 cubes. Do you know what this is? If you count 4 corners, what game do you know? Back in the 70s and 80s and 90s, it still exists today, right? Is it Milton Bradley? Milton Bradley, MB, 4 2s, dividing the 7th gate. And isn't MB something to do with memory? We have to connect this just to let you know. And let me see. Whoa, we have no, who's saying what? Atomic join. Oh, I'm going to say hi to Rec, hi to Dwayne, hi to Vivian. Boy. If anybody wrote anything, what you should do is write it again. I'm going to tell you right now. I don't want to tell you what to do, but you should have a piece of paper to try and follow me, to stop me in my tracks, back me up, slow me down, bring me into a better vibration so that it's a little bit more harmonic with you. You know, when we change the channel, right? When we change a channel on the radio, what are we looking for? Something that's going to soothe the soul, something that's going to be rock and roll, a little bit bluesy, a little bit jazz, maybe Western, Celtic, right? What period of time do you want to back up? What age are you? What are you looking to see different? Is it something you want to acquire or learn? Will you have the ability of that, for that to take place on this channel? Do you like my green screen? I have the best green screen. I never get lost in my green screen. I never get lost in the green screen. All clear. This over here, when we count, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The orange spot is 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Look at that, 6, 16. So the next one is 26. The next orange is 36, 37, 38, 39. Okay, did I get that right? Yes, 6, 16, 26, and 36. When you come back to this area, that'll be number 41. See the way it gets split down the center in triangles? Almost like tetrahedrons, right? Or how about if we looked at it differently, okay? Is if we looked at this as a dartboard, right? This would be the green area of the dartboard, and that would be the red, 25 and 50. And if you look at this carefully, right, these orange lines going straight down the middle is exactly one area space, just like the single cube. So this whole entire board is getting split up by that single cube. Take it away and move this whole entire area out of the zone. The thing is, this area over here is a roundabout. And this area over here, each area owns each side of the area when it's the center heart area. The heart owns each part of the heart. Okay, it's like putting it into a picture frame or hooking it up, right? This actually is the Monopoly board. This is actually the Monopoly board. I put it in orange because the orange are the train tracks, and this is each side of the track. Whoa, what was that? Let me see what's going on. What's going on? Blah, 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 blah. What's going on?
Hello, Mr. Tech Pants. How are you?
I am vibrating in the realm that I can follow the tracks and see the words. I'm doing good with all that said. Yes, I'm
How are
doing
you?
good. Thank you. How are you doing? It's been a
I'm
while.
alright, I'm doing well, but a long time I haven't heard from you. I don't know what's going on with you. Normally we go on live, we're trying to talk about theology and mix it up with your knowledge because people would not listen to you if there's something is not related to them. Like, for example, you know a lot about Old Testament. I've heard you just use this knowledge and link it with numbers. Do you know what I mean? Don't just use numbers at all, just as a topic, as a subject. You might combine them together. And for example, if you speak about Adam and you speak about Noah, about Ishmael, about Jacob, about Ibrahim, you know, all of those prophets, just see the links between, because you know Old Testament is all has to do with numbers. Like in Genesis, it talks about numbers, it talks about the tribes and how many numbers, because these are like, it has to do with stars and astrology and astronomy and all of that. Yeah.
Yes. So, right. So the basics of my work stems from what I see through the algorithms and where am I going to use these? Who can use it? I was told many, many years ago, don't worry. Somebody might need something. You might not know what you're doing, but somebody else might know it. Just don't stop. Just keep going. And that's what kept me going. It told me not to worry. Don't tell anybody you're making or buying or building or nothing. Okay, you're nothing. There's nothing going on. I'm just coming out here. I was writing it in a book. I have 1,000 books in my closet right now. Okay, I write all the time. And at one point into the fourth year, I said to myself, no one's coming to read my book. I said, I may as well share it, because at that point I began to see the pertinency and the connections amongst the numbers. So at that point, I was less shy, but a lot of it also had to do, I don't know if you said, okay, with part of communication. A lot of it had to do with communication. In order for somebody to understand something, we have to be able to communicate. And it's not just to communicate and talk to know exactly what we're saying, is exactly how to understand that there's more to a number. If you were here earlier and I spoke about suitcases, right? Did you hear that? The thing on suitcases was about that in one suitcase, I'm going to have different ways to use my geometric shapes.
I've heard you what you said. I've
So the
heard you. Like, I was
suitcases are
listening.
about this.
I was
Here's
listening
my.
at the time, but you didn't get my point. What I'm saying, I like what you do, but you don't mix it up with religion, because what's the purpose of you giving people's numbers if they're not something they wait after this temporary life? I'm going to give you an example. Do you know us humans, like we are hot water, then it gets cold, then it gets cold, yeah? So it's like similar to this. So this life is temporary. We have to think of what will happen next. You know what I
Oh yeah.
mean?
Oh yes. Oh yes. I'm with you. I'm with you. So one thing is, as I'm learning the numbers and balancing it on the lowest possible before I can spread out too far, I am still learning about the cobwebs, how everything is connected. So when I go into groups, right, and whatever subject it is, it doesn't matter, plumbing, electric, biblical, the flat earth, I don't care what it is. I listen for a bunch of things. I listen for the logic in their conversation, how they have communication amongst themselves, because in order for me to share my information, in which I'm not doing so well in explaining my logic, and as well to understand my logic will help you to understand my theory. Because if you cannot feel my vibration, how can you get your door into even imagining this whole thing going away? Like when I saw Neil Anderson plug up to the Matrix, I completely saw what was going on. And it wasn't impossible for me. It was an actual possible thing that is happening, and it's actually happening right now through every breath we take. Because every breath we take, my belief is
But
so.
what I'm saying, my bro, you have to like talk about something fundamental first. You cannot just give in the theories and all of that. You have to give fundamental. Tell people, what do you believe? What will happen after death? Who's the prime lord? Are we in this realm, which is the Orion belts controlling the universe, which is the three demons? You have to talk about this kind of issues, like before you go into
So
like,
when
you know,
somebody
the
would
three.
when you would bring up something like this is where the panel would come in and talk about, let's, like you mentioned just now, the three demons. Is that what you said?
Yeah, I said there is three demons controlling this realm.
So that's good. So when you say three demons controlling this realm, I'll study your package of words, three demons controlling realm, to how I perceive the books or people that you spoke to.
Now I'm talking about, there is Orion belt. You see the stars. These are three Orion belts. These are attributed to one of the demons. So I'm going to give you one, what their name is. It's
Oh, and
Ra.
I want to
You
get my
see the
book.
Ra god, Egyptian god.
I don't,
Just
don't
get.
know. Hold on a second. Where's my book? Where's my book? Where's my book? I have this book and this book, and I maybe it's in my car. I don't know. Oh my God.
Where is it, man? What's going on, bro? Where's your book, fam?
I can't. I have an old. I have my book that I just started yesterday. I have to go and.
You just look it up. You just want to check the information and resources and all of that, yeah?
No, I want to. I need to write down what you said. So there's three demons
Yeah.
controlling.
This realm.
It's so funny that you're saying this. It's just so funny. It's just so crazy that you're saying this. This is my word of the day. This
So
is
there's
my
three, like,
word. The word of the day is realm.
yeah, no, that's what
And
I'm
it
saying.
started because I either said something about a real lemon, right? I said something about a real lemon, and it was associated to. Then it went to Israel in my head,
No, I'm just, yeah. So
and
you
then
see Israel, because
Ishmael.
there's, look, because Is Osiris, which is the Egyptian god, and Ra, which is the Quran, has Ra in the Quran has Ra, and Ramadan has Ra, and all of that has Ra, because because the in the attribute of Quran is always talking about the gaze of Lord that is aware of everything, like the eyes. Do you see the Ra's eyes in Egyptian theology? Do you know what I mean? Do you get what I mean? Yeah, so do you see?
No,
And
but
El is
can you see a little
Elohim.
bit deeper? Do you know what this
Yeah,
is? Do you know what this is?
yeah.
No, but can
I
you
know.
tell me a
Even El
story about
Elohim.
this? Just this word alone, just this word alone, if you can see and feel what I see and what I believe because of what I understand, because of what you say, is so powerful. This is where the Rh negative bloodline comes in.
Because you know these demons, three demons, one of them they controlling through waves and electromagnetics, which has to do with heat and thermal, which is the energy has to like they controlling in that when it comes to sound. And Ra is controlling you when it comes to what you see and what you observe throughout the nature. That has to do with anthropology, that has to do with humans, biology, all of that, that is controlling because he's aware of you. And the third God is controlling you when it comes to the trials and making you go into trial life and making you hard. But there is a prime Lord. He's out of this existence. He has nothing to do with our interfere. He's just going to judge you what you did as a human, what you did good and what you did bad, and how do you like attribute it to yourself with humankind. Are you actually good with them? Do you help in them? Because that's the main thing that Prime Lord wants from humanity.
Would you associate the Prime Lord with the Lord of Breath?
Yeah, the Lord of Breath, because in Yahweh, did you see Yahweh in Hebrew, but in Arabic is representing to air, yeah, Hawa, oxygen. In Arabic we say Hawa, Yahweh. Is like similar because Allah in Arabic, the last letter is H. We say Ha, and Ha is in Arabic, Hawa. It's like the breath that you breathe, the oxygen that you breathe, that one makes you live, that one makes you hydrated and all of that. So that's is your Lord is helping you because it's everywhere.
Oxygen.
Yes,
667755351. Do you know what this number is?
I'm not related to that number. What does
Okay,
it
this can
represent
be
as?
anything. I'm going to just tell you the easy way so I don't have to tell a long story. When you add up the entire alphabet A through Z, it equals to 351. O is the sixth letter, X is the sixth letter, Y and G are both 7 and 7, E and N are 5 and 5. 6 and 6 is 12, 1 and 2 is 3, 7 and 7 is 14, 1 and 4 is 5. 5 and 5 is 10, 1 plus 0 is 1. But it says much more than that. It says it's divided under the sun with the electric company. It includes the moon, directly connected to us. The 3.5 zone is the heart of the cube.
Yes, I agree with that. I agree with that because
I'd
Allah
have to.
subhanahu wa ta'ala, even in our book, Allah says, وَالْقَلَمِ وَمَا يَسْطُرُونَ. He spoke about this kind of stuff.
Well, your 19 by 6, 114 is actually what is when it meets, when it
It's
meets,
114 the chapters of Quran, yeah. It's
when it
114.
meets at the heart of this, right? And don't only look at it as 114, you can also look at it as 114. You can also look at it as KD.
So you still remember our conversation, do you?
Are,
Because
well,
I've never mentioned to you in the 114 right now. I just mentioned to you like last 2 months ago. So you still remember
6 by
what we
19
spoke
equals
about?
114.
What was that?
It's 6 by 19 equals 114, but it's 60 plus 54 to equal to 114. And it can't be done that way. There's a method to arrive at 114. You can just go ahead and multiply it and get a result. Take your suitcase home. That's why I call these equations suitcases. The alphabet is a suitcase for every single letter because there's many ways to get to every single letter in the alphabet.
So even the number 19 is related to Quran, is related to my life somehow.
It's a huge number. 19 by 19 is 361. It's the only multiplication that takes you one step forward. And it also,
Remember
Chris.
when he spoke about the crown? Remember when I've mentioned to you number 38, and you said like you gave the occasions like has to do with crown and kingdom, and it has to do with David. Remember what you said regarding
So
this topic?
38 is the club. Okay, so it's going to have to do with Trinity. 38 is also gold, which means it's the gold I like to look at is either on the cross or part of the division of the house. It represents the ace, and the ace letter has a bar in it, right? So I look at that as the I, but if you look at that bar, it creates the D and the C in it,
Mm,
which is the D and the C run the same corridor.
I see.
It's the and every single number will run the same corridor, and that corridor is when we get. I'm going to get back to the 6 by 19. The first thing is in French, they don't say 19 as just 19 as a word. They say 10 and 9.
Hmm. I get what you mean. I
Yes,
get
can
what
you
you mean.
lower your speaker in the back because I'm hearing my voice repeat?
Is it because I'm in a car?
Oh,
Let
okay,
me
okay, okay, okay. So what it is it's 60 plus 54. It equal to 114. The other thing is it's also KD, and the K letter is coming into it's the house of the soul. It's it's the house of creation. It's the corridor. The 11th letter will be a corridor to the fourth letter. The reason for this is for the fourth letter, I'm just going to use it as a single digit number other than 11 as a double digit number. I use every single number, let's call it, turn it into an egg. Every egg has a value of many different things. Okay. In this scenario, these eggs will have a value of 9. So when you occupy the 1 and 1 over there, you're also going to say 88. Now you're going to be connecting 11 to the constellations and bringing creation, because the 11 will be 1 times 1, 1 plus 1, equaling to alpha, beta, 1 and 2 equaling to 3. 3 is the corridor of Earth and Mars, the quarter houses. This is the windows of Mars. Mars and Earth together like
There's a
this.
lot of theories going on in my brain, but I don't want to share it at the moment.
Abraham,
Relate to number 11 and all of that, but I don't want to share it
Abraham,
yet.
listen, and not only that is the road. This is really a little complicated, so I'm going to show you the picture of it maybe, and you'll be able to see it a little bit better.
No, I don't want listen, I don't want to just, I want you to use like the related story that has to do with Old Testament and Quran. It's more time
Right.
like
So
the numbers
because
in it, because the 40, remember they mentioned 40, they mentioned 17, they mentioned like all of those numbers. I don't think it's like coincidence. And
so
even our
CN,
book, like
the
Quran is like been
CNH.
described. One second, our book is being described as the book, the attribute, because our book has a lot of like attributes. Like one of them is criteria, and one of them is like showing you, getting you out from darkness to lightness, and one of them is like this book described as a numerology, as a number. He said Kitabun Marqum. So the book is like contain the numbers, is like a system. So Quran is like being programmed somehow with numbers, like you connect all of that to come with the conclusion to relate with your life. Because do you know Kabbalism and all of that?
Oh,
You know
can I
all
tell you
of that.
something right now? Right now, all the numbers that I get from the Quran and all the numbers I get from the Hebrews, they're all coming out of here and matching up. I don't know why they're at war together. It makes no
Yeah, I
sense.
know, I know, I know. They match in a lot. That like it's not coincidence. For example, I'll give you in Ishia, yeah. In Ishia, he's like predicting that the prophet will come from Kedah. You know, Kedah is one of the sons of Ishmael, yeah.
No,
And
I
he
don't. I
said
don't
he's
know it,
going
but
to come,
the
yeah,
name is
and he's going to,
important.
yeah. His name
I'm
is
going to tell you
Kedah.
why, because they brought that
Yeah,
name
one
out.
second. Let me finish this. I don't want to. I don't want to lose my thoughts. Yeah. So he's describing that the last prophet is going to come from Kedah, and he's going to come from Faran mountain. Yeah. And instead of a letter F, if you put K, it's going to give you Quran. Quran. Like in French, Corona, Quran, yeah? It's basically, and crown in English, yeah? So he said, if you say F, like if you, instead of letter F, you put K, it's going to give you Quran. Is this coincidence? I don't think it's coincidence. Because these are like, they working for one cause, like you mentioned. All has to do what it's like deep knowledge. They making it like even Quran we call in our chapters, but in English, in Arabic is not chapter. We don't call it chapter. We call it barrier. We call it fence, surah. So this chapter is like we just seen it from outside, from external. We don't visualize it within the book. So all of those prophets, when they came, they speak literal. They use examples, but they don't mean it actually, like literally. They mean it more deeper because they knew that some generation after them they will come and they will understand what they meant because it was not specified for their generation. They hoped their message will reach for those who come after. They came after it because they were thinking about the next generation, like 1,000 years. They don't just visualize it during their experience. Do you understand? So, like that's why people sometimes they're using all those kind of books, theology books, in order to force people and control people and to take literal form of the book, which is not meant to be like this. It's meant to be like knowledge. You have to seek for knowledge. You have to look for your Lord, investigate. Like, do you know what I mean?
Would you think most of the books that are read improperly, that the people are having a misconception about what they're reading? I mean that everybody, you follow what I'm saying? Everybody's seen
Yeah, I'm
something
listening to
different.
you.
Is that correct? Is that what you're sort of looking at like that?
Yeah. Yes, of course.
See,
Because all people they
that's where I see. That's where I take no sides to anything, and I try to find out a way that we can all communicate. So my only thing I know now, I'm not doing. I'm going
it's
forward.
numbers, it's numbers. The only thing for example, I always give this example. Like imagine if you go in skyscrapers or building, huge building or hotel, how would you demonstrate between rooms? You would know by numbers. How would you demonstrate everything by numbers? So of course, like even mathematics, the IT, computers, all of them has to do with numbers,
What
algorithm. So Allah will speak to humanity with this kind. Even that's why I'm going back to Quran. Why do I go back to Quran? Because I searched into all books. I respect Old Testament, New Testament. I don't see as a corrupted. I see as corruption. Even Quran is being corrupted by some people. They corrupt the meaning. In Arabic, do you see English and Arabic is different? When we say corrupted in Arabic, when Allah described Old Testament and all books as corruption, it's not meant, it doesn't mean by like change the words. No, they change the meaning, they change the interpretation. Do you understand? But as a book is not corrupted.
so
But people understood it wrongly.
there's other things there's other things that we can add on to this, and it's the music.
Do
Because
you know
when I
why? I'll tell you
listen,
why. I'm sorry.
okay,
I'll tell you why. Because in the Quran, Allah subhanahu when He speaks about Jews and Christians, He said, لا حجة بيننا وبينكم الله يحكم بيننا وهو أحكم الحاكمين. Allah subhanahu Muhammad, our prophet he's been ordered from Allah to convey the message to Jews and Christians to tell them that there is no arguments between us and you because we believe in one prime God and that we need to work together. It's not just because Prophet Muhammad, that's the book what he says, it's not me. He says, يا أهل الكتاب لما تكفرون بآيات الله وأنتم تتلون الكتاب. Like he's saying, all the people of the book, why do you disbelieve in the scripture while you read it? So Allah is not saying the Old Testament is wrong because He's saying, why do you disbelieve in book while you read it? So he's agreeing with what people do, like reading Old Testament, New Testament. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
Do you
I
understand?
do get what you mean, but
That's what I'm saying
we,
from the Quran. I'm not talking from
but
my perspective.
what's
I'm
going
just
on?
narrating what Quran says.
So
Yeah.
are we looking, because there's many ways to look at what you're talking about right now. As is it pertaining to what I do, because or the general public, or what has become, because we all know what's happening right now out there, right? Okay, whatever's out there, if something is, if I look at something that's really nice and smooth, oh, you did a good job, someone's going to walk in there and mess it up, because this is the society we live in right now. Right now, people aren't understanding the what is being conveyed when they read. Their logic has been altered. Right, there's a lot of people's logic that has been altered for whatever reason. That they do it on purpose. They no longer think the same, and that logic is, you know what? You come in here and tell me that person across the street is bad and they're beating up the neighborhood, right? I think everybody should just stay home and take a look out and take a peek out the window before picking up and make their own judgment on what's going on. We're not communicating enough. You know what I'm saying? We're like doing irrational things. Things don't make sense. I read the news, and it just doesn't make any sense. Any of it.
Yeah, yeah. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, كان الناس أمة واحدة فاختلفوا. People, they were one nation, then they disagree between themselves. They focused on minor details. They didn't focus on the higher details, to focus on this creation, to align with humanity, to think of what Allah told us to think within ourselves. That's what Allah wants you to do. Like, it's not wants you to focus on minor details, on unaliving yourself. Like, from Old Testament and from Quran, you're not supposed to unalive humans without reason, without having reason. Like this, you're not. That's forbidden. Like, imagine you unalive an other soul without reason. Of
Right,
course,
but
you back yourself, you defend yourself, but if like attacking someone, kicking out people from their lands, doing all those kind of stuff, that goes against humanity and that goes against what Allah being created us to do. Because all of us, we share the same blood, we share the same like flesh. Do you know what I mean? Body, yeah. So we're not supposed to like attack the. Can you imagine lions? On all animals, they don't do what humans do. Can you imagine?
can you? I can imagine that, but can you
That's
imagine?
why Allah called some people like the animals, because they don't discriminate the same. There's not difference. They don't show up that they are difference between the creations. That's why I'm not insulting, I'm not judging, I'm not generalizing. I'm just saying from Allah's opinion and from the scripture. Thank you.
So, I mean, I'm not sure where we're going with all of this, but right now, if I go back to like 60 years ago, over my algorithm and take a look, I know that there was more or less 3 hours a day, which was on TV, all related to the news. 3 hours a day. We had a capability of watching that news, okay, and judging by ourselves. Okay, if you go back in time and watch the news, I can see what happened over time when I look back. And right in the
Now you
news,
said what's the purpose? Remember we spoke about three demons. Go back to it, remember. That's what our
right.
purpose is.
So I'm going back to three demons: the morning, the lunch, and the supper, or the 11 o'clock news, the 6 o'clock news, and the one other two parts of news in the morning. Okay, that they drilled you with every single day as we were growing up. We should have known the difference. We should have seen through it. We're always living with the threes all the time. It's always about three. Okay. Now, if you're thinking about why three demons, what does demon mean to you? Are you taking it as a literal demon? What kind of
I'm
demon
seeing
is
it as a
it?
negative energy. I see it as a negative energy. It's like it's all surrounding us, is always trying to make us, by feeling certain hormones, by feeling people like certain to attack someone else. Like his negativity is all around us, but we can't visualize it with our own eyes without like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So would you,
without using tools.
if
Like,
I, if I said the,
but
if
they
I said your
surrounding us. They surrounding us everywhere.
when you're
Like they're
born into
everywhere.
this world, okay, you breathe the air, you get a moon and a sun, okay, and the demons that come along with this are the other moons you do not see, the moons of Mars. You don't see the two moons of Mars,
True.
right? You only know of one moon here. The one moon here is Mon, right? In your daemon, bringing the sun with the moon, because that's what that word says. DE's for the sun. For in French, it's 5 and 4, bringing through the gateways. The 666 coming with this, with the D and E. Reason for this: D is the fourth letter, E is the fifth letter. 45, 4554, 54 equals to the word sun. 45 equals to the word fox. FOX, or 6, 15, 24 equaling to 45, or what is in the short count to be 66 one way, and the third moon, the third
Bro,
6
I'm
is
not talking
upside
about
down.
this, man. I'm not talking about this, fam. You're going too far, bro.
You said demons, no?
I'm talking about the demons. Remember what you said describing the three Orion. You linked it with Orion belt. You said
Yes,
these are,
but I was talking
and
about
he
the
said
demons.
about. Remember when he tried to break down the word Israel? Remember?
In
You
here
forgot.
is
Why are you
here,
going
here.
that far, bro? I don't understand. So what
The
does like the?
AL is part of the, you see the AL here and the EL here, where the E is
It's
next to,
Elohim. It describes is Allah and Elohim, and Ra is describing Ramadan, yeah, and like Ra, the Egyptian god,
see, that's why
Ra,
I tried to
the
explain
one
to you.
eye.
Okay, I have to write it. That's why I'm trying to explain to you that when I do my numbers in the alphabet and you're giving me the words, I just want I interrupt you a lot to show you at the same time as you're going through this, I'm not going to be bringing to you a whole story of everything, what it means. I'm going to be working with you to show you on the way of where it shows up in the words, what the differences are. Is there any separation? EL, here it's A towards your L. We have alphabet alchemy. Here we have Elohim. Here we have Le Mon, which means the moon, right? If you wanted to transfer it as our moon is a mon and not a moon, and that's why they used a Monday. So I'm just trying to show you how all this relates to your demons controlling in all the realms. You see this letter over here? This has
Yes,
a value
Ra,
of
yeah.
3. This is a heart position. In Roman numerals, this is 1,000. This is 10 times 10 times 10, X, X, X. When you position 3 X's together, and it's in my other book, it's going to create 2 circles within it. It's going to change the direction of the circles, turning them into Saturn square. So it all connects. It all connects. So I know it all connects, and I know that 11, 11, 11. Okay, 1 times 1, 1 plus 1 can't. Okay, and don't forget 1 is going to be A. Or if you multiply it, 1 times 1, 1 plus 1 equals 1 and 2. Well, the 12th letter is L. You might be able to say Allah by saying 11, 11, 11, which gives it a
I see.
direct
I see.
connection to
I see.
Jacob.
Because the 11 number in the Quran is like even there's deep meaning in the Quran as well. But I don't want to go there. I don't want to go there.
It's the
Yeah.
creation gateway 11. It is right here. Here it is.
Yeah, even Yusuf is related. You see, Joseph, the son of Jacob, he's like related to 11 number, like 11 in Quran.
Well, 10, 11 connect together. It's like a swinging door, more or less.
Mm.
And what happens with Joseph? It's at JOE is 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5. 5A, 5B, 5C. So Joseph is like directly connected to something to do with an energy, electric, something to do with an area space that's going to join the upper world with the lower world, maybe through a marriage or
Mm.
something.
Mm.
I don't know. Oh, and you
Because
finish
Allah,
with
he
Joseph
described
and
Yusuf as
PH.
like,
You finish Joseph with PH, right? That's good. 4 times 4. It's connected to Abraham. How is Joseph connected to Abraham?
his like for grandfather.
Okay,
Yeah.
because it ends with PH 4 times. Yeah. bending with pH is going to create 44. It creates a trinity, but in that pH, it's 4 times 4, 4 plus 4, 16P, 4 and 4, H8, making pH equals to the 24. There's a gateway right over there with Joseph. Joseph is playing an energy, also connecting the two sides, the upper and the lower world together. The 5 position, the same position that Jesus would be positioned in, right over here. And remember, I'm showing you one.
Say hello. I was just going to say hello, Mr. T. I'm not saying a lot.
No, hi. How you
Hi,
doing?
hi.
Yes, sorry,
I'm
we
good,
didn't.
thanks. Sorry, did I interrupt? Sorry.
Oh no, that's okay. We're gonna sorry that I let you up. We weren't finished, but go ahead, speak.
No, just wanted to say good evening. Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening. Good evening.
Good evening. How are you? How are you doing? You right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. If you want me to go, like, I've just opened because I've heard him talking about Adam alayhi salam. That's why I rised up. So normally I don't rise here because I know this guy, Mr. Tech Pants, in other lives. He used to come in our lives. We had discussion before. So if you want to continue with him, if not, then we'll see.
I was listening.
All right. But it's good what he says regarding Yusuf has to do with energy. Because Allah even he described him, قال جعلني على خزائن الأرض. He described Yusuf that he has like control of the earth. So he could mean that. I can take it this way. Because even the story of Yusuf has to do with stars and moon. And we know how stars are related and moon. How is it related to earth?
You have
And how is
any
important. What was that?
Do you have any I'm just trying to think something in history. Like
I want you to focus on Ramadan. What do you think? Because the Egyptian. Let's go to Egyptian.
Can you spell it?
Hieroglyphics. Let's go to because I think the 3 pyramids has to do with three demons as we mentioned. These are demons. They controlling the world behind the scene. Like we can't visualize them, but they have they interfere using the energy, taking the energy form. We know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said as humans we cannot destroy jinn. And we know that energy can't be created or destroyed. We know that. So it's I think they can through the waves, through magnetic field. These are jinns because in Arabic, jinn, demons. You know, jinn in Arabic is related to something unseen within. You can't see it, and it comes from genius in English. Genius is related to jinn. Genius because he got that knowledge within, yeah, within his consciousness. That's why we call him genius, because it's different, it's unique.
How did you spell jinn?
Jinn in Arabic is J-I-N.
Okay.
And you can take it as engine, genius, the way you write it, because in Arabic we don't have this letter golf, like J. If you read it golf or we read it that way, government, we don't have that. So we use J as genius, yeah? So you can relate it to genius.
Hold on a second. Did you just say you don't have a G?
In Arabic, we don't have like G. If you pronounce it as golf or golf, we don't have that letter. We don't.
Okay, that's fantastic. That's a good sign. That is huge. Listen to this. I know so many combinations and things that are out of algorithm and the things that fit together, and it's the G and the J. It's the 7th and the 10th letter. Okay. Mm-hmm. I don't know how to explain how, and they're in the same.
Because 7 is perfection. 7 is perfection. By you saying someone is genius, J, because it's perfect, it's unique. Yeah. Is it?
In between these two is 89. It is the highest of all. Everything is going to rotate. The heavens rotate around one. But when the heavens rotate around one, when you see nine, nine is like one is like nine, because it's all of the area space that is occupied. Outside of one is eight. Eight, from any position it turns, back, front, or side, it will be positioned inside of eight, like in the torus fields.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there's two different scenarios for this. Okay, there's two different designs that come up with this, but this is the beast. Can't you see it? I am 6, 6, and 6. Can't you see that face? That's the beast. Right there. It's even.
This is Ram. Ram, yeah.
There's your
Ram, yeah?
Ramadan.
Ramadan.
There's your Ramadan. You want to know about it? And not only that, it even says it at the end of the word. You see this? These two letters over here? Okay. Remember, it comes in a song, it comes in music, it comes in words. Right now, this is do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. The beginning and the end. Do, do. A-M or am or amma. It is the soul not within this world. And it's from three worlds. The M is from three worlds. It is the only Roman numeral, okay, that is a 1000. Okay, it has 3 zeros and a 1. It's on the other side of the comma when counting in numbers. We must follow the earthly rules of our English, of our French, of our alphabet, the mathematical rules that were set here, honest to every single person, that when you roll the dice and you see a 3 fall down, you move 3. But when it falls down 3, what else don't you see? So when we're reading the Quran or any other book, how you interpret it and how you understand it is only your logic, only your version. And since everybody has been persuaded, okay, perverted to other ways of seeing things, over time, people have been, oh, you're right, oh, I'm too embarrassed, oh, or now you're cast out, and now a different sect begins,
But
and
do you
everybody
think it's
starts.
coincidence? Nana, you didn't get my point. Do you think it's coincidence? Like, do you see Israel? Like in the Quran is mentioned, I think 77 times. Let me double check how many times Israel meant. Because within this, there's 3 demons. Within this name, there is like 3 demons describing the Egyptians. Osiris and Ra and
Within the
Elohim.
head of the ram.
What was that?
Within the head of the ram. You see, I can't go too deep into, I'm not ready, right? And I don't believe that I can go too far into the future in looking at the numbers, because if I had
It's
to die,
mentioned
if
6
I had to,
times. Israel
if
in Quran mentioned 6 times. Perfection, 6. Mentioned 6 times in Quran. The word Israel.
so it's 6
And it has to
times.
do
So
with 3 times, yeah, 2. So remember 3 demons, yeah? Ra, Ramadan, Quran. There's other words. Alif, Lam, Ra. I'm not saying that.
how many time zones are there in the world?
D2?
Is there 52? And there's a reason why I'm asking, is because you do know there's 6 sides to a cube. If we
Yeah.
now there's another question. Imagine this: if I needed to use only 6 and count the entire alphabet, what would I do? What would my algorithm be?
I can't hear you properly. Can you hear me?
You're counting?
If I had to count the not count the alphabet, if I had to go 1 through 26, what would my algorithm be going counting by 6? What would I have to do? What would I have to sliver in there in order to reach the end of the alphabet? Okay, I'm going to show it to you. I might not be explaining it. Here it is. because you mentioned six, right? And every number has, when I mentioned right at the beginning, I said I had a suitcase, right? Well, the suitcase is, and I had a lot of suitcases. What's every suitcase? Put number one over there. Number five, put it over there. Put four with one. Yeah, you'll put six with two, and you can put three with five. Yeah, that's okay. But I thought but I got two. I got more fives than I got sixes. You know, if you look at Scrabble, you'll see how many letters they have. Not every letter is the same amount of letters to play the game. So I don't have the same amount of suitcases here. Now, every single suitcase is, because when I fill up the suitcase, like number five, you know what's inside number five? Yeah, it's a 9 and a 5, 14. 1 and 4 is 5. So that's like in its own area, right? Right. So,
But what I'm saying, let's go back. We said it's mentioned 6 times Israel. So let's go back to it. Let's see.
so here's, well, when you want to go to six, I want to show you what part of what six does. Six goes 616 to the seventh gate and 616 to the seventh gate. But between the two gateways of 7 is 66.
Six plus one plus six plus 6 plus 6 is 12. Divided by 1 is 6 plus 1 is 7. Minus the 1 is 6.
What it is 616 is 13. 616 is 13. 26 letters in the alphabet. This is the seventh scale. 6 and 6 connecting to one element. 6 and 6 connecting to one element. Oh, I like
And chapter, because I've went to check which chapter 66 in Quran, Surah Al-Tahrim. And verse 6, if you put 666, it's talking about the fire. That's why I went there.
Is it 666
Because
or is it 666?
I always want to relate numbers to Quran. Let's see, because remember when I told you that Quran, Allah described it as numbers, numerology. Yeah, so everything what you say, I'm trying to relate it to Quran. Let's to see what you mean. What does Allah mean by?
This is what I just told you.
All right. Let's see.
This is the same. This design and this is the same thing. Now I'm going to show you. I run through this gateway over here all the way to here. See this one over here right in the center? That one connects to this purple space and this purple space. These two spaces are 66. Now you're going to say, well, look, it's in the center of this one and the center of this one. Yes, because the even numbers, okay, are the ribs to the odd numbers connecting the 1, 3, 5, 7 with, okay, is connected by the 2, 4, 6. And then you end up going 6 areas and then connect with the 7th, go down 6 areas. Now they match together over here. It's a half area space I must connect. The M and the N, the area of the passage of the sun passes right through here up to the 7th gate over here, down back to Z. So you go Z over to T, down to N, over to M, 14 and 13, over to 7, down to A, G over to A. And this is your alphabet. This is also put together by using the game of pool. If you ever played the game of pool, this is also put together the game of pool. It also has other numeric scenarios, but we're going to stop right here.
That's incredible. And does it represent letter A? Probably.
Does it not look like the eye? Does it not look like it, or what? But it doesn't only look like it.
To pyramids. That's why we said the 3 Orion belt. Remember, it goes back to pyramid.
Of course, the Orion belt. There's different rungs.
It goes back. No, it goes back to pyramid. That shape, even the alphabet, even the letter A, is representing the even in Arabic. Do you know when we write letter 7? I don't think that is coincidence. Like it's giving you the shape of triangle, the same as alphabet, but is upside down. A upside down. If you in Arabic, if you wanna write letter number 7 is like a upside down. So it's like 7, triangle upside down. Do you see? So I think everything comes from Egypt. That's what I say at the end.
You know,
You get
I
the
have
point?
my eyes closed and I'm listening to you talk, and you said something upside down, and I'm listening to it, and oh my God. You know what I saw? I saw Aries the ram. That's what I saw. And that's exactly what's splitting everything apart. It's a house. We live in the house. We're in the house, a house of Abraham. I don't know any other numbers that match this. The house, I mean, if you ever look what it looks like to look at a number 4 in artwork, okay, you can't make anything any more than all these triangles, okay? And the
Yeah,
four,
yeah. Because you see the algorithm, like Al-Khwarizmi, the Arabic scholar, he basically he wrote those numbers because these are, you see the English numbers, they're actually the Arabic ones, because they shaped the angles, they counted the angles. Let's just say number 1 he has 1 angle, number 2 has 2 angles, number 3 has 3, and when you go to 9, which is the last, so they based it on the angles. They counted the angles each shape, so all of them is like attributed to triangle. Everything has to do with pyramid at the end, because that's the beginning. I think that's a sacred land. Because when we see Ibrahim, like you mentioned, Ibrahim, he went to Egypt. Moses, he went to Egypt. Yusuf went to Egypt. When Nuh alayhi salam, the Noah, when Allah destroyed the nations and flood, yeah, he landed in Egypt. So I think that's a sacred land, because people back then they use like letters like we know during our time. They use symbols, the natures, like each one of the creation represents just say the sound and wave, and they build it up and they make the sentence and words.
do you know the
Like
time
that's how
period?
people start
Do
with.
you know any time periods?
What was that?
Do you know?
I don't think Egyptian is like 3,000 years. It's more than that. I think 10,000 years, because there's a lot of scientists. I forgot the book. There's American scholar in 1980s. He wrote the book, and he spoke about the Egyptian, like he counted like Egyptian like is 10,000 years according to Orion belt, but I forgot that. I've read it like 10 years ago. I can't remember all the details.
So can we say, and I'm going to seed you with the answer. Can we say there's a big discrepancy amongst the people of the world, really about the timeline, about everything? Like when Jesus was here or Moses was here and all this, would you say the timelines are like juggling?
Is that what we're saying?
Yeah, what's that?
Is that what's being said?
Or no, can we say that? Can we like sort of agree that nobody is, even though all these books have come out, with all these books that have ever been written and books that haven't been written on the amateur side, would you say on the book side, would you say it's more or less concrete, all these numbers and dates and times through history about when Moses was here and Jesus was here,
Yeah,
etc.?
of course,
Yes.
of
Yes,
course, through the
agreed.
numbers, of course, because
Agreed.
in the
Yes.
Quran,
The stories,
Quran,
the pictures. Yes.
in the Quran, there is a knowledge, there is a subject we call the ilm al-zamakan, the knowledge of the time in the Quran. So we can, let's just say, if we read about Nuh alayhi salam, we can like carbonate through numbers how many years he's far from us. Like the same way we can use to Musa. It's like the knowledge is like ilm al-zamakan. We call it ilm al-zamakan within the scripture. Even in the Old Testament, I think. Even in Kabbalah, they use the same methods by using what's it called? I forgot what's it called. By using Hisab al-Jummal, geometry, they're using that, they can relate. Same as Quran. Because these three religions, they know. They don't want to share, they know. Some of them, the scholars, even the Muslim scholars, like the Mu'tazilas, they know those kind of aspects, but they don't want to share it. I don't know for what reason. Because everything comes from Egypt at the end. I'm not Egyptian myself. Don't think I'm European. Like, I'm half Arab, half European. Yeah? I'm just saying.
We're just humans trying to look for the truth, you know. So
Yeah, because I found out everything comes from Egypt, and I don't believe that like prophets they were like normal human being, same as human like Ibrahim, because Allah called Ibrahim and Noah and all of them